In a world where it's tough to find real, authentic stories, we're here to share the true heart of the trucking industry and the soul of country music. We're going to dive into the life on the road and capture the essence of small town America, from behind the scenes of NASCAR to the brotherhood of truckers.
We're the last of the cowboys, giddy up gone boys.
We mix storytelling, industry insights, and musical highlights. So come on, y'all, and let's hit the road. Hey everybody, Tony Justice, and you're watching The Road Show with Tony Justice and friends. And man, are we excited to have today's guest on, Mr. Bryan Martin from out there in Joplin, Missouri. Man, how are you, brother?
Man, we're doing good. Fall is in the air. Temperatures are starting to cool off, so we're just sitting here on I-44 kind of doing our thing.
Man, I know you guys stay busy. I see you on social media a lot. We were just talking earlier about, all the new stuff you got going on with all the new trucks and new designs and coming up with some cool chrome stuff to put in those newer trucks because a lot of that's changed. I know you guys wear it out. You stay busy on social media and you work hard. And I know I appreciate you, and a bunch of other truck drivers appreciate all your hard work.
And this whole four-state chrome shop mafia thing keeps us on our toes for sure. They're really kind of like you, as you can relate. There's really no such thing as downtime. There's always something stirring and something you kind of get involved with. So it's all good.
And I'm admiring your hat. I haven't seen that four-state truck design hat yet. I think I'm gonna have to put my name in the hat or on the bag, get one of those
I can
maybe.
tell you where to get them.
I can tell you right where to go buy them, and hey, I will gladly buy one too. It looks good. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show, Bryan. You've been a big part of the trucking industry for many, many years, man, and a big supporter of the men and women that sit behind the wheels that make everything happen. I mean, they're the back. Everybody says trucking's the backbone of America. Well, if that's the case, the drivers are the backbone of trucking. The men and women out there that make the wheel turn, and I know myself and a bunch of other drivers appreciate you and all the effort over the years you put into your business, and exposing the trucking industry and the good side of it. And this started way back before you. I mean, I know your dad was really big into trucking, and I thought it'd be cool to take people that I've had a chance to know you and hear the stories, but a lot of people haven't heard the stories of the Bryan Martin before anybody knew him. So I thought it'd be really cool to kind of go over those memories from the past that really got you to where you are today. Can you share some
Sure.
of that with us?
No, it's a fun story to tell. I enjoy telling it. I'm probably like 95% of the people watching this. I mean, ever since I was old enough to really remember anything, so, 5, 6 years old, man, I just wanted to be around these trucks, these big rigs, these semis. I was helping Dad change tires, change oil, riding with my grandpa, just doing anything I could to spend some time in, on, under the truck. But our whole family either, worked at truck stops, ran trucks, were drivers, were mechanics. So many of my uncles, grandpas, granddads, dads, neighbors were all just they were touching something to do with the trucking industry. So our whole neighborhood, whenever you had a get together, guess what they were talking about? These danged old trucks and how times were tough back then, and we were hoping they would get better, and we're still talking about it today. Kind of like farming, but it's all I ever wanted to do. I never really cared if I was mechanicking or driving or what I was going to be doing as long as I was around trucks. But got out of high school, had really no desire to do college. I went to diesel school down in Nashville, Nashville Auto Diesel College way back when. Great school, learned a lot. Came out of there and then worked for my uncle at his dealership, used truck dealership and service center, and did mechanic work for a few years, and then kind of worked my way up through the parts room and then the parts counter and then the general manager and so on and so forth. But we've always been involved in trucking. We've always been here in Joplin at some location on Exit 4. When we started way back in the 80s, the Petro here was non-existent. I can remember when I was in high school and working at my uncle's dealership, there was just an empty field over there, and then they started pouring concrete, and they poured concrete, and they poured concrete, and they poured concrete, and pretty soon, a year later, there was Petro of Joplin, and it's been added on to, 10 times since then. And they do a great business over there. But we're just trucking people here. The building, not the building, but the property I'm on now, back in, I think, 71, my dad was fortunate enough to buy it. And it was, a lot of people may not remember this, but it was Truckers Inn of Joplin. This was actually an old school truck stop with a bunkhouse, a cafe, full service fuel islands, a tire shop, lube shop, and things like that. And then across the street was Jesse's truck stop, where there's the Pilot and the Wendy's Travel Center right now. So a lot of things have changed out here at Exit 4, but our family has been deeply rooted right here in this area for decades and decades.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to feel that genuine passion that you and Bryce, your mom, everybody that I've been around in your family, and your daughter Jessica. I mean, it just exudes from you guys, and it's it's not just about making money. I mean, there's a lot of things people can do to make money in the industry and off of the industry, but to do business with people that are genuinely passionate about the drivers, the industry, and care about how things are going. That's just the people you want to do business with, versus someone just out here trying to make some money off a bunch of truck drivers. And we run into that a lot out here as drivers. We see it when we break down and they want to charge you these ridiculous roadside fees and all that. But I just want to tip my hat to you and family for all the years of genuine passion and keeping it real. That's awesome.
Well, we appreciate that. We definitely are passionate about our industry, all of us, trucking. We've been on the other side. We've been stranded. We've been broke down. We've been scalped out on the road and been lied to. And we don't want to. We don't want any part of that with anything we do. We we know trucking, and I mean, a lot of people say this, but when you're going to be away from your family 7, 8, 9, 10 days straight and deal with all the headaches and hassles and a lot of wrongdoings that, you're kind of just a victim to out there on the road, we definitely relate to the lifestyle and the determination and hardship that all these owner operators and drivers go through to make it happen and get the stuff there and get it there safely and get it there as on time as possible. So we get it. We totally get it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And what a lot of people may not know, they see the big cool chrome shop out there, but a lot of people don't go out back and see the shop, the fabrication, the custom work that goes on. I know you guys do a lot of when people buy some of the bumpers and
Yeah.
drop vouchers, whatever you do, a lot of the installs and stuff like that. So you guys got a big crew down there, man. Not counting your social media people and your salespeople out front. I mean,
Folks don't realize it, and sometimes I don't maybe dwell on it, but there's 150, 160 of us here just in Joplin at Four State. Like you said, we got the store, but then we also got the install, and we got the metal fabrication where we can do stainless, diamond plate, steel, all that. And then, big warehouse and people shipping parts and boxing parts and receiving parts and everything, all the accounting and marketing that goes with it. So it's got plumb out of hand on us.
yeah. That's kind of like this music thing. You created this monster. Now you got to get up every morning and feed it.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
it's gonna eat us.
Yeah.
So,
Or somebody told me that today. Said, careful what you wish for.
hey, absolutely, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It is a lot of work. It's never ending because you're just trying to survive. But man, it's fun. I mean, I love the challenge every day. We're in two different businesses, but at the end of the day, running a business is running a business, and you have the same obstacles and all that.
And trucking, you can attest to anybody that's in it far and away, man. It gets in your blood almost like no other business. I guess maybe rodeo or something like that could be similar, a ranching, but man, kind of once you get bit by the trucking bug, you're generally in it for
You're in it for the long run, or two, you can't do it no more. One of the two.
Right.
It's kind of like music, and music and trucking. I always an independent artist versus an independent owner operator.
Hmm.
You know, it's a lot of the same challenges. And
Yeah.
if we was in it for the money, we'd quit a long time ago,
Right.
you know,
Right.
in a lot of cases. So, but anyway, but hey, listen, you've had, man, you know, we're talking about all this, your chrome shop, your install shop, fab shop, man, and on top of that, you do this little truck show. You know, 2 or 3 trucks come out too every other year. So like, we're going to talk about that when we come back, and we'll want to talk a little bit about the trick my truck days on
Oh yeah.
CMT. Man, it had to be a good time, and I'm sure stressful too at the same time. But we're going to take a short break, give a shout out to our sponsors, and we'll be right back in a few minutes. There are folks out here who still take pride in their everyday ride. Low profilers, million milers, chicken lights, and chrome stylers. The ones who do whatever it takes to keep America rolling. Those who know if a job's worth doing, well, it's worth doing right. Full stop. Great products for real people. Based on family and faith, the book, Into the Long White Line, is a must-read journey of a retiring truck driver and cattle hauler reflecting on his life dating back to 1966. Experience the love, the pain, and the untold stories of life on the road. Make sure to add Into the White Line to your reading list today. Hey guys, welcome back to the Road Show with Tony Justice and friends. We're spending some time with our great friend Bryan Martin from out there in Joplin, Missouri at 4 State Trucks. He's took time out of his day to come on here and hang out with us. We really appreciate that, Bryan. Appreciate your time. You know, I actually knew you for a while before it dawned on me that you was the guy from Trick My Truck. You know, and I don't know why I didn't make the connection until like it's probably a couple weeks after I met you. I'm like, hey, that's the dude. Well, I'll be dang, that's pretty cool. So you know, it's just kind of crazy how life has this road of fate for us, and a lot of times when things are happening at that time, you don't really notice it, but when you get 15, 20 years down the road, you look and you can just see where things fell into place that led you to get to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And I know that's kind of how it's went for you. And talking to Chris Fifey, we had him on the last segment, and was having this kind of same conversation. It's crazy. If we knew what was going on at the time, we wouldn't be able to understand it anyway. But looking back, it all makes sense.
You're right.
And so one of the, I think, big stepping stones for you, that kind of helped build your popularity and notoriety was the Trick My Truck deal. How did on CMT? That was one of my favorite all-time shows. Man, y'all would done some awesome builds and for some great people. That was the coolest show ever. How did that come together? What was the beginning of that like?
That was pure dumb luck coincidence. Like we weren't auditioning, we weren't out seeking it. We just bumped into folks. Right time, right place, I guess. But pre Trick My Truck, Rod Pickett and myself were friends. And with him being at that time from Washington State and us from Missouri, I mean, we never saw each other. Maybe every other Louisville if we was lucky. And there was a truck show in Reno, Nevada. And Rod said, well, man, I'll bring my 359 down and you bring the mob sled out there and we'll meet up out there. I'm pretty sure it was the mob sled. It might have been the outlaw truck. I really can't remember. But anyway, we met out there at Reno and kind of hung out for 2 or 3 days there at the truck show together. And some folks from CMT, as the story goes, they were looking for someone to do this show about customizing big rigs. And they'd been up and down the West Coast and couldn't really find maybe the crew that they wanted to do this TV project. So they saw there was a truck show in Reno, so they drove over there to check it out. And literally it was held at the Petro there. They walked up to the show and started asking truckers, like, if you wanted to get a truck customized, where would you take it? Who would you call? And I guess the second or third guy they approached said, you ought to go talk to those 2 guys right over there, which was me and Rod, just standing there kind of shooting the breeze. So these fellas from LA did exactly that. And they came over and they said, hey, we're from the network and we want to do this TV show and we'd like to talk to you about it. And would you give us 30 minutes and hear our story? And we rolled our eyes and said, yeah, sure, you're from the TV show. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They said, listen, just meet us inside the cafe here, the restaurant, in an hour, and we'll kind of show you our deal. And we sat in there, and they seemed to be legit. and we agreed to do a demo, like just a little B-roll tape, impromptu, after the Reno show. So I drove home. A few days later, those guys were here. We're here in Joplin. Spent a whole day here filming at Four State with myself and Scrapyard and other folks that were just, organically here because it's where they all worked. CB, you remember him?
Yeah.
And then they got on a plane, went right to Marysville, Washington, and filmed Kevin and Rod, put that B-roll together, and got it ready to show CMT. And we didn't hear anything for months. Long time went on, and we just kind of discounted it and thought, well, CMT didn't like it. Phone rings, and it's the guys from LA. Said, man, CMT loves it. They want to do a pilot episode. So, okay. Yeah, we did the pilot episode. Rod Kevin came to Joplin. We got the whole crew put together. Rhino, the painter, Rob with the sound, Hotwire here from Joplin to do the sound and the audio and the interior. And we did the Inferno episode, which was our pilot. Same thing happens. They said, hey, we're going to take this to CMT. They're going to show it to, I think they called it a focus group. So they're going to sit down with a room full of people and watch this and let us know if it's a thumbs up or thumbs down. Same thing happens. 3 or 4 months goes by. We don't hear a peep out of nobody. And phone rings. Oh, they love it. They want to do 7 more episodes. And then there you go. We're off and running. And so we did those first 8 with season 1. And we ended up doing 41 episodes total by the time we stepped out. I think you'd kind of call that 3.5 seasons, maybe 4 seasons, but it was a good time. I mean, a lot of things on reality TV. That's kind of a learning lesson. Your reality TV is the farthest thing from it. Watching them today is pretty doggone hard because not only were we not actors, we weren't even good actors. I mean, it's bad. At the time, it worked. And the great thing about it, I mean, the absolute greatest thing about it is it put trucking back on prime time. It put these trucks out there where every man, woman, boy, and girl could, learn about them. And it was intriguing and they liked it. And, at the end of the story, it made the industry look good and got a lot of publicity for the trucking segment. So it was a fun experience and a kind of a high action time of life. It's amazing how long ago it's been. That had to be 2000, 6, 7, 8, 2007, 8, 9, in kind of that era. And it was quite an experience to be able to say that you got to be part of something that at that time was really, really big. I mean, it was a crazy successful new series on CMT.
Yeah, and it was kind of like at the threshold of reality shows. I mean, I think a lot of reality shows was kind of based off
Yeah.
what you guys did, and they didn't want those Hollywood actors. They just wanted real people,
Right.
colorful. And you had a cast. You couldn't have went to Hollywood and had auditions and
Yeah.
found a better cast than what you had there, and all the stars lined up. But that was a God thing in my book, for that to come together like that. But so here you are, though. I mean, you're heavily invested in a business,
Uh-huh.
chrome shop, install shop, custom work, and this Trick My Truck show comes along. So how distracting, how hard was that? Because I can imagine how time consuming all the
Yeah.
filming was, and then trying to run your day to day and stay on top of that. I mean, that had to be a super big challenge.
It was crazy stressful, but worth it. Like you said, how many people in their lifetime gets an opportunity to do something like that? It was a lot like working 2 full-time jobs. I would dart down to where we were filming because we couldn't really do it here because to film, you have to really shut down your shop. Overhead doors down, air compressors off, no forklifts running, no real noise in the shop. So I said, guys, I can't do that here. So we were able to rent a shop just down the road, and I would run back and forth between the television set and here, a lot of times taking them parts and then filming a little bit, coming back, working a few hours here, going back. A lot of filming at night because it was, 103 degrees outside, and with the doors shut, about the only time you could really film and not be soaking wet was in the middle of the night. So we did a lot of that. But man, it was a great infomercial for, all of us on the show, every cast member, but especially Chrome Shop Mafia and Four State Trucks. So would I do it again? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. Was it hard work and stressful and kind of burning candle at the both ends? Yes, but what isn't? Really, to some degree. If you want to see it through, you just got to suck it up and grit your teeth and make her happen.
That's it. One thing I've learned with any kind of little bit of success comes a whole big bunch of work. A lot of work. My hobby, turned into a business, and I wake up every morning now with 15 things to do every day or more. And just like I said, you got to stay on top of it. And if you're passionate about it, it's work, but it still don't seem like work. So we're both two pretty blessed guys to be getting to do what we're doing. And you said the key word earlier. You was talking about the show and it being good for the industry and the kids getting involved. Man, there's a lot of things over the years that have changed in the trucking industry, in the world in general, but in the trucking industry. But one thing that still remains the same to this day, it has not changed, is kids love these big trucks.
They do. Yep, they do. Absolutely. I tell you what is kind of an odd feeling is, and it doesn't happen every day. It doesn't even happen every week, but it happens several times a month. Somebody will come in the store, or especially down at, Louisville or one of the other truck shows. And, there's this big old strapping lad in front of me that's 20 some years old. And he's saying, when I was 9 years old, I watched Trick My Truck. And now this guy's an owner operator driving his own, or he's driving for somebody else. But that kind of makes you realize you're not the youngest kid in the room anymore, and makes you feel really old. But it is fun to see how many people, as kind of hokey as it was, really were impacted by Trick My Truck and seeing those cool trucks drive out of the shop and the door come up and everybody cheering and, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good it looks. And it truly affected people's life to where they wanted to be involved in the industry. And I hear that a lot, not as often as we used to, but it's pretty cool to have so many positive interactions with the old TV series.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about your favorite build from Trick My Truck, or whatever your favorite build is. It don't even have to be from Trick My Truck. And
Okay.
then I want to talk about this little truck show you put on every other year that 3 or 4 trucks come to, called
Okay,
GBATS.
right on.
All right. Well, you guys stick around. We'll be back in just a few. Man, I hope all your guys are treating your fuel. I really do. In cold weather to fight gelling, and year round to make up for the shortcomings of ultra low sulfur diesel. My friends at House Products have a proven line of products available nationwide at retailers, truck stops, and also on Amazon.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Road Show with Tony Justice and friends. We've been hanging out with my buddy Bryan Martin from Four State Trucks out there in Joplin, Missouri. Before we went to commercial there, we were talking about CMT and Trick My Truck. So, you've had the ability to be a part of a lot of builds on trucks. And I was just wondering, question for me, what is your favorite build to date, your favorite truck build?
Man, we have, like you said, been blessed to be involved in a lot of really cool builds. The TV show trucks were all special in their own right. The mob sled, the old green and white Freightliner out here on the sign post in front of the store, was very cool. Still to this day, the one that opened more doors for us and we had as much fun as probably all the others put together was that old gray primered Outlaw truck that was actually well pre Trick My Truck, but nobody had went that direction at that time. Instead of shiny paint and, Viper red and all that, gloss black, we went flat gray primer, very little chrome on it, a lot of flat black with the exhaust and everything. We shot real bullet holes in it. You could actually stick your finger in it and oh my gosh, that isn't a sticker. That's real. And we went with the old moonshine Outlaw whiskey running kind of motif and put a real racy kind of bare bones interior in it with a lot of flat aluminum billet work on the interior. And that truck was just awesome. Everywhere we went, it was not what people expected at a truck show. They expect to see them bright glossy paint, dripping in chrome, lights all over it. I mean, this thing didn't have probably 7 lights on the whole truck. It really cracked people. And they either got it or they didn't. a lot of people thought it was like a before, and you're going to bring it back next year after, like fixed up, right? And we're like, no, like it's
It's,
done.
it's done.
But all the cool kids got it, and I toured that whole year with that truck and CB Grimes, that was also on Trick My Truck, and we just had a blast with that thing. We got to do so many parades and got to take it to Vegas and everywhere in between, and that truck made almost every magazine and just a lot of press over that truck. When I sold it for 80 grand. And my dad told me, he was still alive at that time, and he said, "Son, this is the one you're going to wish you'd have kept." And I'm like, "No, Dad, we got to have that money so we can build another one, next year." And I sold it, and he was right. I should have kept it.
Dads usually are, they
They
have a
are,
knack at
yeah,
that, don't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
That's cool. Our old buddy Troy Huddleston always said it's not a truck build until you take a welder or a grinder and a cutting torch to it
Right,
and
right.
modify something. Y'all definitely modified that one,
Yeah.
blasting bullet holes in it. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Took that to the farm real quick and shot that with the old 7.62 Chinese rifle.
That's great. I'd love to have been a part of that.
Oh my gosh. I was out there by myself. It was crazy. Yeah.
Insane. Well, what another thing that's crazy, insane, is this little truck show you put on every other year. It used to be every year, then it got to be quite a bit. It's quite the spectacle and a lot of moving parts. You went to every other year to where you kind of prepare better for it each time, and you probably think about going every 2 years by now more. But man, the Guilty by Association Truck Show. I've been blessed to been a part of that quite a few times and come out there and perform, and we always appreciate that opportunity. And but man, you've raised a ton of money over the years for Special Olympics. It's a massive convoys. I guess the world's largest convoys that you pulled off there a couple of years, taking the trucks downtown. And so you're juggling this little life of yours. From your own business, through the chrome shop, and then the shop out back, the fab, and all that stuff, and then the CMT TV show. Then that's not enough for you. You got to do this truck show. And I was telling Chris Pfeiffer earlier, I was like, Ryan's like the king of truck show guys. I said, I think everybody that puts a truck show on, including myself, try to model in some way, our truck shows after what we've learned from seeing you do out there. And I think that's a huge compliment to the work that you do, Bryan. And so this truck show, this is going to be, what year is this? Was it this year again you're doing it, or is it next? I get confused.
It's next year. So it's September of 2025, the last full weekend in September. It'll be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I shouldn't even say it because I probably get it wrong, but I think it's the 24th, 25th, 26th. But whatever that last Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the month is, that's what it'll be. It's just remember, GBATS is always odd number years. So it'll be 2025, 2027, 2029, and so on. But we started out as just kind of a little 30 truck invitation only, actually on a Thursday. And then it got a little bigger the following year, the following year, the following year. And it's turned into a really big gathering, just like you're saying. And I'm flattered to have that come from you, that you kind of modeled some of what you do at your highly successful show off ours. But I did the same thing. I mean, I went all over the country with that outlaw truck and others, and just asked people, like asked drivers, what do you want to see in a show that people aren't doing? And I kind of wrote all that down and tried to add a couple things every year to the Guilty by Association Truck Show. And we haven't had 1,000 trucks yet. We were 3 short of 800. We had 797 one year. We had the show for several years, 5, 6 years, just as a truckers gathering. And then we got the privilege to team up with Special Olympics. And man, when we did that, it's like, okay, now we got a purpose. And these drivers and these local, regional, even national trucking companies got passionate, got involved, started donating and sponsoring and just volunteering to help us execute this big weekend. And it's been great for GBATS. It's been great for all these athletes that benefit from this fundraiser. If we count all the years that we've been doing this in association with Special Olympics, it's by far their largest fundraiser of the entire year, and it allows them to do a lot of fun things for athletes all over the 4-state area. But the thing that I like to say about GBATS, it is fun for the trucker and the truck owner, but it's also fun for the wife or grandpa, for the 13-year-old kid, for the 7-year-old kid. I mean, we got stuff going all day and all night for 2.5 days. From demo derbies to truck pulls to concerts to convoys, all kinds of hoopla going on like a county fair. And it's really to stand in the middle of that and see everybody with all their smiles on their faces is that's the payback. That's what tripped our trigger. Now, last year, man, that was tough. It
Yeah.
rained every cotton picking day. But out of 13 shows, we've only had that happen 3 times. So we still had 10 dry years out of all
Hey,
13.
that makes it all worth it. But that's the key. One thing that I really try to model my show after was the thing that I think of all the truck. I go to a lot of truck shows. We perform at tons of them, and I see a lot of them. But you go to a truck show, it only takes so long to look at the trucks.
Hmm.
When you get done doing that, and you can go hit the food trucks and have you bite with the family. But then after that, what?
Hmm.
And it's keeping the people entertained. Whether it's you get the burnouts going on, you got the kids tractor pulls. We try to have we had Mark and Digger from Moonshiners there, meet and greets, and
Yeah.
stilt walkers and face painters, and the Food City grocery cart giving everybody rides, but making it fun for not only the drivers and their families, but just the person off the street. I think it's great PR between the trucking industry and the general motoring public to kind of earn some respect for one another. That the general public will bring their kids, the drivers let them get up in the trucks, blow the horns. That's a great opportunity for our industry and for
Yeah.
drivers to reach out and make people aware that that's not just a big truck going down the road. That's somebody's dad or grandma or grandpa or
Yeah.
son and daughter. And that's one of the things that I love to see. I love to go to these truck shows where the general public comes out. Your truck show is great about that. Mayberry, the truck show in Mayberry, they do a great job of drawing a lot of locals and stuff, and we work real hard at our show. So it's from the time you step in, into that truck show to the time you get back in your car, there's something going on entertaining the people and giving them something to do. So thumbs up for being
Thank you. It's really cool. You can ask. I can poll 100 drivers. After our show's over, what was your favorite thing about GBATS? 90 of them will have the same answer. When we convoy downtown and park under the city lights with your clearance lights on, and like you said, all the locals, men, women, boys, and girls, come out to ooh and ah and ask questions, take pictures of the trucks. That's what these truckers like. Being downtown with all the general public coming out, just like you said, Tony.
Well, listen, Brian, this has been fun. This flew by. I mean, I'm gonna do some more of this, and I'm over my time now. But how do people get a hold of you? I mean, they want to learn more about the truck show. They want to, check out, buy your 4-state hat, which I'm gonna get off here and go online and pick me one up.
Yeah, just come by Joplin, exit 4. We're just across the street. We're not far from Joplin Petro. We're across the street from the Pilot and Wendy's. Or go to 4statetrucks.com. There's contact us and all the phone numbers and everything you need right there. But yeah, y'all don't be a stranger. Come by and see us. Give us a holler, and hopefully we can hook up with you and help you out someday.
All right, Brian. Hey, well, thank you. You know how much I appreciate your time. It's been a blast, and
It was fun. It was
look
great.
forward to seeing you next year.
Right on.
All right, God bless. Take care. Hey, y'all. My good buddy, Frank Terry and his family at Terry Law Firm have been representing truckers involved in trucking collisions for years. As truck drivers, we need a knowledgeable lawyer on our side that understands truck cases. The Terry Law Firm knows the FMCSA regulations as well as today's modern video system telematics. I met Frank years ago when he took on a case for my mom, so I know they're going to treat you guys like family and leave no stone unturned in your case. To get a hold of them, simply call 1-800-51-TERRY. That's 1-800-51-TERRY. Or reach them online at www.terry-lawfirm.com. Tell them I sent you. I'm glad you did. Thanks for tuning in. If you like today's show, then do me a big favor. Mash the share button, be sure to subscribe, and leave us a review. Also, be sure to follow us on social media for more updates and behind-the-scenes content. Until next time, God bless, and as always, speed safe.